When I decided to start this channel, I wanted to call it something. I wanted to think of a name that represented the message that I wanted this channel to represent. And I landed on "You Are the One" because certainly for me, for most of my life, I spent much of it looking out there for something and someone to make me feel whole. And what Law of Assumption did was reminded me that there is nothing and no one out there that is going to make me whole. In fact, it's only going to reflect back the lack of wholeness that I'm feeling within, which is why I'm searching out there for it. So "You Are the One" is a reminder that you are the one that you have been searching for, that you are looking for. However, while this statement is grammatically correct, it is actually spiritually incorrect, because "you are" is not the one. "I am" is the one. So this is just a reminder that you are the one because you are the "I am" of your reality, and "I am" is the observer of your reality, and the observer is the cause. So we're going to go into this a lot more deeply, and I know you know this, but this is just going to be a really good reminder so that you can remain conscious of how you are observing your reality and everyone and everything in it, because they are not the one. They're not the ones you're looking for. They're the ones reflecting you back. So as long as you have your observations in check, your reality will be reflecting back more of what it is that you want to see. That's what we're doing today. My name is Hedley, and if you would like to know more about me or my offerings, including Law of Assumption one-to-one coaching, my self-concept course, "I Am the One," which is grammatically correct and spiritually correct, my book, "I Am Money," which is also spiritually correct, you will find more information on all of that in the box below this video or at my website, youaretheone.com.au, spiritually incorrect. So many ones. We're going to get clarity on that today. If I could just ask you to do one simple thing before we get started. If you are enjoying my channel and you are enjoying these videos, if you could please press that subscribe button on your screen now, that would be much appreciated. Thank you so much. So some of you have asked for more success stories, so that is what I am going to give you, more success stories. One of the great joys of this job is that I get to receive your emails and DMs sharing with me some of the successes that you've experienced in your reality as a result of this incredible work, and I just love them. I'm always in awe. They always put a smile on my face, so thank you so much. Keep sending them through, and if you don't mind, I would love to share them as well. So I'll just read this one out from Tracy. Tracy R., thank you so much. A friend of mine recommended you to me this week, and I have watched many of your videos already, and today had a wonderful experience that I wanted to tell you about. I watched the video where you spoke about your cousin in the park. I'll put it up here, and straight away put your recommendations into practice. My daughter-in-law's father has a large shed building company, and about 6 months ago said that he had an aluminium carport that I could have for the front of my home. I was over the moon and couldn't believe that I was being given something that cost so much. That was 6 months ago, and I hadn't heard anything from him and was starting to think he'd either forgotten or had changed his mind. After watching your video, I straight away gave thanks to the universe and started to imagine that the carport had been delivered and was already installed. I couldn't believe it when about an hour later, my daughter-in-law's father turned up at my home and said he hadn't forgotten about the carport and he'd organized to have it delivered this week. I can't tell you how blown away I am at the way it happened, and will be practicing what you teach from now on. Anyway, I just wanted to say a huge thank you and can't wait to see what will happen next. I'm also about to order your money book and can't wait to learn about that too. Thank you so much, Tracy, and thank you for ordering "I Am the Money" book. And please share your money success stories when you have those as well. So as you can see, it's just so easy. The issue is with this work, it's the amnesia. We came into this human experience with amnesia. We are in the process of waking up, and in that process, we fall asleep again and again. That's okay. It's part of the human experience. So that's really all we're doing here, is just remembering after we have forgotten. This game of awakening is the game of remembering, and it's remembering in the times where you have forgotten who you are. you're in the habit of telling the old story, or you're in the habit of focusing on what is currently happening in reality that you do not want to be happening in reality. And then you go, oh, hang on a second, I've got to shift my awareness to what I do want to be happening. And then you have to go into your imagination, change the story, see it differently. And then boom, an hour later, there's the call, there's the person, there's the result. That's how easy it can happen. It's just that we forget. So today I wanted to give you another reminder of who is the one in command of your reality. Of course, a lot of these videos, I'm saying the same thing. I'm just saying it differently because all of these videos are simply here to remind you what we have all forgotten, because that's the adventure of remembering, and that is that you are the infinite I am of your reality. And I am is the observer of reality, and the observer of anything is the cause of how that thing shows up and behaves. So let's start where I always like to start, which is at the first principle of law of assumption, and that is consciousness is the one and only reality. And the reality that we experience here in this third dimensional realm with our five senses is nothing more than the holographic reflection of consciousness, and in particular, where we are directing our awareness. You are the one who is observing your reality, but you is not the observer of reality. I am is the observer of your reality. Now, yes, if you close your eyes and go into consciousness, yes, you can astral travel and you can go into other people's perspectives. However, as long as you're in third dimensional form, you're in physical form, you can only experience your reality through your perspective. You are the only I am in your reality. Therefore, you are the only observer of your reality. You are the only one observing your reality from your perspective. Now, this is what we forget, and we are so caught up in the dramas and the conversations and the opinions and the projections and the reactions and the reflections that we forget. Everything is a reflection of your observations and your ability to command your infinite observer. There's no way around this. That's the observer effect in quantum physics. That is, the observer of something is the one who causes that something to behave a certain way. Let's have a look at the word observer. Now, we talk about this word observer a lot. As you know, I love etymology, which is the study of language and where words originated. And often where a word originates gives us a clue as to what the word actually means, not what it has come to mean over time, because over time, language loses its meaning. It gets diluted. It starts to mean something else, and we actually lose the original meaning of what the word was designed for. So the observer, 1550s, one who keeps a rule, custom, comes from observe. Okay, so let's have a look at the word observe. Late 14th century, to hold to a manner of life or course of conduct, to carry out the dictates of, attend to in practice, to keep, follow. Now, if you look down here at the word ob, so ob is a word forming element meaning toward, against. Now, against also just means in front of, before, near, across, down, in the direction of, in front of, before. So ob is a word forming element that comes before serve. Late 12th century, to render habitual obedience to, owe allegiance to, minister, give aid, give help, to do duty toward, to show devotion to be a servant, be in service, be enslaved. So observer is before the one who is served, which means I am comes before the one who is served, which would be, in my case, Hedley Derenzie. So Hedley Derenzie is the one who must obey the I am. So whatever I'm doing with I am, Hedley must obey that. This physical experience must obey, must be in accordance with whatever I'm doing with I am. So I am tall, or I am short, or I am beautiful, or I am ugly, or I am rich, I am poor, I am whatever I'm saying about myself. That is how I am observing myself. That's me using the observer to observe myself into existence. And then my reality is going to reflect back my observations of myself. I have no choice but to obey. That's the server. So Hedley Derenzie is the slave to I am. The character that you're playing in your reality is the slave to your I am awareness. That's the observer. So if you are looking out at your reality and you are the I am, you are the observer, that which you are observing must be in service to your observations. They are the slave to your I amness. So however you are observing something or someone must obey, must be in accordance with your observations. Now, the mistake that we all make, the human experience, is the assumption that how somebody is showing up in our reality is who they are, which is incorrect. We are calling forth within them what we are expecting to see based on the assumptions that we inherited or that we have since chosen to rewrite or rescript based on doing this work. That's how people are showing up. And also that is why people can change from one state into another based on how we change the observations that we're holding within ourselves. So the questions that you want to ask: how am I observing myself? How am I seeing myself? What are the stories that I'm telling about myself? That's number one. How am I observing myself? How am I observing my partner? Now, this is a big one. In love and romantic relationships, we think that this person is showing up and doing these things to us or behaving a certain way, not realizing that we are the observer of them. Your partner is second or third person in your reality. You are the observer of them, which means you are the cause of how they are showing up in your reality. There is no way around this. The law applies. The one who is being observed must be in obedience, must be in accordance with the observations. They can only show up how we are choosing to observe them, keeping in mind that time and space does have a gestation period. So there may be a delay between a change in the observations and a change in how they show up in reality. How am I observing my family members? What are the observations I'm holding of my family members? Observations is just another way to say assumptions. How am I observing my work colleagues? How am I observing my friends? How am I observing money? Remember, money is in your reality. It's subject to the observer. So however you are observing money is how money must show up and behave in your reality. This is something I talk a lot about in I Am Money. I am money simply is saying I am the observer of money, and how I am choosing to observe money is how money must show up in my reality. So if we're saying things like, oh, I can't afford it, or I don't have enough, we are holding those observations of our reality, and money must be in accordance with those observations. It must behave accordingly. How are you observing your career? How are you observing the job that you're going for? How are you observing the book that you've just published? How are you observing the house that you're wanting to buy? How are you observing the house that you're currently in? Every single thing and person and object in your reality is subject to your observations. And I mean subject. They are subject to your observations. If they are in your kingdom, they are your subjects. And how you are commanding them is how they must show up. And we command them subconsciously. So if you haven't answered these questions before, I would encourage you to write these questions down and take some time to look at: how am I observing my current reality? And how do I need to be observing my current reality in order to see that reality show up? You can choose to observe something different. And if it's not in reality, you'll have to go into imagination and observe it there. How would you like to observe someone showing up in your reality? If somebody isn't showing up in your reality, then you must go into your imagination and observe them showing up in your reality in your imagination. Wherever you go, whether it's reality or imagination, you are always the observer. There is no getting away from this. Even if you don't know this, you are still the observer. Even if you don't want to be, you are still the observer. Even if you are fighting and kicking and wishing this wasn't true, you are still the observer. And the observer is always the cause of what you are observing. Let's make things easier for ourselves and just accept it that I am is the infinite observer. You are as the I am, the infinite observer, and what you are observing must be in obedience to your observations. So choose how you would like to observe the things and people in your reality, and then go into your imagination and hold those observations, hold those assumptions, because that is how you get what you want, and that is how you cause people to show up how you want. It all comes from you. Now, I also want to say I do not have this perfected myself. In particular with family members, there's a couple of family members who I know that I have negative assumptions about because of a long history of behavior before I was aware of this work. So even though I know this stuff, I'm still applying this in my own reality, but I at least know that I am the one causing how these people are showing up in my reality. In fact, these family members that I'm referring to, I've manifested them out of my reality, but I know at some point they will be back. And at that point, I'm going to have to look at how am I choosing to observe this person showing up in my reality, because now I know that I am the one causing how they show up in my reality, not them. For so much of my life, I thought it was who they are and how they showed up in my reality, which is why I sent them out of my reality and manifested them away. But at some point, they're going to be coming back because it's family. So keep in mind, we are having a human experience. This is not about perfection. This is about progress. This is about remembering. And this is about enjoying yourself while you are here. So take all of this as you wish and do enjoy your reality. You are the cause of it. So enjoy it. Have fun with it. And as always, please do share your success stories. I would love to hear them. Others would love to hear them. So please feel free to send me an email with any success stories that you might have. I'm going to pop up that video that Tracy was talking about regarding how my cousin changed his story and then 10 minutes later experienced that story reflected back in reality in the most amazing way. It blew my mind as it always does. So check that video out. I'll post it up on the screen now. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful week, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.